What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about questions that you need to ask before you hire an accountant for your nonprofit. So this is super important because many of you are managing organizations, and as you grow, there comes a time when you have to move on from the DIY phase. But a lot of times there's a lot of options out there. You don't know what you're looking for. You may not even know specifically what your organization needs. And so today we're going to go through some questions that you should be asking. Okay, so the first one off top is, do you specialize in working with nonprofits? And this may seem like, oh, duh, of course we should ask that. So before you take any other steps, before you go any further, you need to know, does this person, this firm, this group specialize in working with nonprofits? Number two, you want to ask, what software are they familiar with? What software do they typically use with their clients, and how well versed they are in that software? Here's the thing, as someone on the other side, it is very important to me that our team not only have strong accounting knowledge, but you also need to know the software very, very well, because that determines how you set things up, how things look on the reports, right? The level of labor or manual workarounds and things that you have to create. And so if the firm, for example, specializes in, I don't know, blackballed products, but you use QuickBooks Online, that may be a red flag that that firm is not for you. You want someone who knows not only accounting for nonprofits, but also is very much so well-versed in the software that you use. Number three, you want to ask, what part of the accounting process does this person, firm, group, whoever manage, right? Because there are multiple layers as it relates to what goes on in the accounting function, right? Some people may only do bookkeeping. Some people may only do tax. Some people may only do audit. And so you need to be asking these questions because, you know, as someone who runs an accounting firm, I've had clients get frustrated when they thought, oh, I was hiring someone that does our 990 as well. And it's like, nope. We don't file 990s. We will do all of your accounting. We will speak with your CPA. We will make sure they have everything that they need, but we don't file taxes. We don't perform audits, right? But we get you audit ready. So it's important to ask these questions, which of course come from you first knowing what your organization needs, right? So if you are nowhere near the threshold to be audited, maybe that might not be a question that you're asking about. But you know you have to file your 990 every year, so you might want to ask that, right? So it's important to get clarity on what the scope of work is so that you are not disappointed when something isn't done or, you know, whatever the case, right? You want to just be super clear so that you also know, okay, maybe I might have to hire them for this thing, but then I might have to hire someone else for something else. And I'm going to take a little caveat here, or let's take a step back before we get into our last 2 points. I am a firm believer that no one person, no one firm should be responsible for your entire accounting function from A to Z, meaning bookkeeping, accounting, audit, tax, like all of the things. You want to implement appropriate segregation of duties, right? You want to implement checks and balances. You want to make sure that if there are errors, if there's fraud or things that are being done that shouldn't be, you know, that someone can find that, someone will check that, right? Someone will catch that. But if you just have one person or, you know, one firm that's responsible for all of the things, it's a little less likely that that is going to happen. And that's why I like to tell my clients and my potential clients, like, accounting, we got you. Your bookkeeping and your accounting is going to be solid. You will not have to worry about that. But what we are not going to do is do all of the things. One, because we're not experts in all of the things. And if we're doing all of the things, we're not going to do it well. So you are not going to have to worry about your accounting. We're going to make sure that your tax pro, your CPA has everything that they need. But that needs to be someone who is separate from the work that we do. Got it? All right, let's get back into number 4, which is, how do you bill, right? And so you may or may not be aware of this conversation around like fixed fee billing or hourly billing or even value pricing. But it's important for you as an organization to know what's going to be required from you from a financial standpoint so that you can budget well, right? So will you be, you know, paying a fixed fee every month for a certain scope of work? Will you be billed hourly? And we know that being billed hourly is kind of like an because then you get worried that every time you know, reach out or connect or meet that the clock is ticking, right? And so personally, you know, in our firm, we do fixed fee billing for a set price per month. You get a set number of things, right? It's very clear up front. And so this is what you want to ask so you know, again, what it is that you are getting yourself into. Okay, and number 5 is what type of reporting is included in this service? So there are different types and levels of reporting, and what I find with nonprofits, it can get very nuanced depending on who the user is, right? So you might be reporting one thing to your board, you might be reporting one thing to management, to your auditor, to your tax preparer, to your funders, like the funder piece. Because each funder sometimes requires a different kind of report. The time frame sometimes is different, like it can get very nuanced, and you might find that you're this accounting professional that you are vetting, they do month-end reports and that's it. And if that's the case, then that is not who you want to choose, right? And so you need to be clear on the needs of your organization, one, right? So that you know what types of reports that you need. But then the second part of that is asking so that you're aware of what comes with it and what doesn't. We know that reporting can get very nuanced. So, you know, we don't include all types of reporting in every package, right? So if you get the basic level, then you probably get basic level reporting. But if you are in our most advanced level, you're getting more advanced level reporting, right? So it really depends. And so you want to think about what your organization needs, but you absolutely want to ask the question so that there are no gaps when it comes time to a funder looking for a report. You're thinking your accountant is going to prepare it and they're looking at you like that's not included. You know what I mean? And so these are just 5 questions to ask. Again, this is just touching the surface, right? It's not everything, but it is a really good starting point. If there are any of these points or topics that you want me to dive in deeper on, just drop it down in the comments below. Again, a lot of this comes from personal experience because I do run an accounting firm that solely serves nonprofits. So a lot of this is me speaking from experience. And so I hope that this was very, very helpful for you, and I will see you in the next video.